Hey there, guys. My name's Ben, and you're watching the Be a Hero Gaming channel, where we talk about games and how you can be a hero in your real lives. Have you ever had the feeling like you have majorly screwed up and you have to make a change immediately? Well, that thing happened to me, my friends, just a couple of days ago. I'm not much of a sports person. I'm not the kind of guy that comes home from work and sits down and turns ESPN on and just watches and watches and watches. I'm not that guy. I have a vague knowledge of what's going on in sports and who's playing in the championship games, but that wasn't really the case when I was younger. My dad took time with me to introduce me to sports, to teach me about sports, to play sports with me as a young kid. I still remember those days, me and a couple of my brothers playing hot box with a couple of license plates, throwing the ball back and forth, trying to tag the runner out. We used to do football scrimmages, and my dad would carry a dish towel tucked in his pants that he'd use for the flag if there was a penalty. Just a really good time hanging out with my brothers and my dad, being introduced to sports. So recently, I kind of got introduced to Boba, Bo Jackson Battle Arena, which is kind of a sports-based collectible card game. And this is the second set here. The third set about to come out features Ken Griffey Jr. as one of the featured heroes, which when I was growing up, Ken Griffey Jr. was the star. I grew up in Washington State, and so the Seattle Mariners, we loved to watch them, and Griffey was the man. And so when that set came out, I got really excited, and I started talking to my 16-year-old. We were talking about Boba, and I was telling him about it and telling him about this nostalgic feeling that got all conjured up in me after learning about these Griffey boxes, and telling him about Ken Griffey Jr. and the Mariners playing the New York Yankees at the World Series. And something very startling happened next. My 16-year-old son said, "Dad, who are the New York Yankees?" And I about died. I felt like I have failed as a father. And for a second, I thought he was joking. And I said, "Wait, you're kidding, right?" "No, Dad, I don't know who the New York Yankees are." And I said, "The baseball team? You don't know who the..." I had some major self-reflection to do in raising a son in America, and he doesn't know who one of the most popular baseball teams is. What we did from that point, my friends, is we went into the garage, and I said, "You know what? We need to make some changes around here." We went in the garage and found up on a storage shelf my old bat bag, and we unzipped it and pulled the gloves out of there and the balls. And me and my 16-year-old and my 8-year-old went to the park and threw some passes. And as we're throwing passes, we're talking baseball rules. And I can't believe that I had overlooked this after having this rich childhood, being introduced to sports, that I had not told my boys anything about this. The thing that was surprising to me was my 16-year-old was a natural. I threw the ball and he caught it right away. And we were throwing back and forth, and I kind of threw a couple of zippers to him too, just to see if I really throw this, and he was catching them and throwing them right back. And I saw this interest start to spark in his mind that maybe in the springtime, he'll even try out for the high school baseball team, if we can get him in a batting cage and see how he swings. My 8-year-old, on the other hand, could not catch a single pass. Everything we threw to him, he would drop it, he would miss it. He couldn't catch the passes. And so eventually we came up with a goal. Why don't we try to get you to catch 5 passes, and then we'll head home. He got really excited after catching 1 pass, after catching 2 passes, and he made the comment to me, "Hey, Dad, do you think if I catch 100 passes, you'll give me some Wonders packs?" And I said, "You know what? We'll have to maybe work something out. We'll see." But man, it was so nice to get outside the house and throw the ball with my boys and basically make recompense for my errors and deficiencies as a father. And I told the kids, "You know what? I think we're going to introduce a thing into our lives called sports camp, where we're going to take once a week or a couple times a week, we're going to go throw a football or a baseball or go to the basketball court or something, because I cannot raise these boys and have them have no idea about sports at all. Now, I'm not saying that you should be obsessed about sports and neglect all your regular duties because all you want to do is sit around and watch ESPN all the time. But what I am saying is get outside, get with your friends and family, do something recreational, breathe the fresh air. I understand that obsession in anything can be bad and can have negative effects. But getting outside, getting some fresh air with your family or your friends, introducing your kids to sports, and then letting them choose. Do they want to pursue this or not? Will kind of be up to them at that point. But the reason why this game was so life-changing was because that would have never even come up had I not started talking about these Griffey boxes that are about to come out and reminiscing about the good old days and Ken Griffey Jr. and the nostalgia that I felt inside for some of those old school players. I don't know, I guess depending on how old you are, maybe they're not that old school. Some of those players and the feelings I had as a kid watching those games and how fun that was. It's a pretty cool game. I enjoy the game. I like the cards. But getting into this game and talking about this game has been life-changing for me as I've realized where I've been deficient as a father as it has to do with sports and where I can do better. Guys, I know all the time we're going to find areas where we feel like we're deficient, where we're weak, we're not really doing as much as we should be doing. But the important thing is, as you realize that, you make immediate changes. Life's all about leveling up. How high of a level can you get? It's about progression. We don't want to just come here and just be stagnant and just coast through life. Life is too awesome. Life is too rich. And there's too many wonderful things in life and joys that we can enrich ourselves with if we're willing to make changes, take some risks, and get out there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you're playing games. I hope you're being a hero. Take care.